I have a story for you here. A long time ago, there was a master, and he was very pious and powerful. I mean, in a good way. He could save souls and rescue people. And the king of that country was also very good to him. Yes. So he gave him a piece of land and he built something for him to stay in. And then his disciples could also come and stay and listen to him now and then. Yeah, okay. But then some of the disciples were not content with just coming and going. They wanted to stay there forever. Okay. And then slowly they took up everything. And then the master felt uncomfortable because what kind of teacher can stay with the students 24/7, Or even every other day or every few days? Yeah. And then they put up tents everywhere, right in front of his house, and he could not go out to the bathroom without people trailing behind. Yeah, wanting to paint a picture. Not with the toilet, I guess, I hope, but still trailing around. He could not even sit down to eat without people staring in his mouth. He could not even have any conversation with his mother or sister or brother without somebody sitting listening to the private details. He could not even talk to his doctors about his illness, yeah? Of course, from the karma, without everybody listening. They even sat around him, around his bed all day, all night, whenever they came. So the master left. He could not bear and left for a while, went somewhere. And then they took up everything, of course, right. And then after a while, they didn't have the master. So one of the so-called disciples said, hey, maybe we are too possessive here. That's why the master cannot bear it. And he left already. Why don't we maybe leave the place for the master to stay alone? And then we can come to see him at his convenience. He is getting older. He also needs rest. Okay? So, okay, they all left. Yeah. But one of the so-called disciples was not happy with that. She came, stayed there a long time. It was cheaper. No need to pay any rent, nothing. I put up a tent there and just stay. The ashram always have some food. I like that. Came and went whenever she wanted, like her own house. So was reluctant to leave, didn't want to leave. And by the way, one of the other disciples, her friend, there are two friends, two females. One didn't have magic power or was not aware that she had magic power. But they were friends in many other lifetimes. They were magicians, black magicians. And follow the master, of course, didn't exercise any more power. Fine. Another one of the friends, happened to do something that was wrong and harmful to the whole assembly. So the master asked her to leave. And then this friend came and, gossip with the black magician friend. And this magician got this excuse to curse upon the place of the master. Not only that, but the master also got affected. He could have averted it. He could have returned this power to that magician person. But he could not do that. Number one, he didn't have the heart to do that. He was not used to doing this kind of bad thing. Number two, the karma of the disciple, he must bear. Okay? But that person's soul has been burned almost like black coal, until the master came and embraced her inside and repaired her damage. But still, that person still needs to go to hell for a long time. Let me see how long. I saw this inside the vision, okay? So I noted it down. It's not in any book. But if you see Maudgalyayana's story, then you should know. It's similar. Okay, the one that cursed the master and put a forbidden fortress into his place so that he come back. They invite him to come back, but he could not live in there. Live very uncomfortably, you know. Some days headache, some days stomach ache, some days heart problem, some days blood pressure, some days insects come and invade his quarter, etc., etc. And also the assistant around the master also became infected, yeah? And they also work against the master. Anything the master said, they could not listen. They didn't listen well. Even if he said black, they would do white. It was so obvious. And when the master first came, he was also very kind of stretch out if you want. Okay, stretch out. All right. So when the master first came, he was also feeling very bad, you know, headaches, forgetting things, feeling like something was draining his energy, and also very kind of blurry, yeah, vision. It's kind of like you are in a kind of forgetfulness, some kind of different physical ability, different than before. You understand me? Yeah, forgetting things, writing things not as precisely as before, and kind of inside a little bit like blurry, kind of a dizziness inside, sometimes physical. Got that? Yeah. Felt like a different person, a much older, like forgetful, and not easy to handle daily things anymore. It was a very difficult time for the master. But the master still had to continue to do the work, you know, much other work to do. That master also did not rely on donations. He did some work, some artwork to support himself. Thus, there are many things to do, and the government also came and went and all that. The people, the guests, and he had to take care of many things. Yeah? All right. It was a very difficult time. But for that so-called disciple, it's even worse. Yeah. Although she didn't know it. Because the mind, the body prevents you from knowing what you are doing. Yeah, and what your levels or what's happening to your soul. Got that? To your existence in the universe. So she didn't know yet. But luckily, the master rescued her on time. Now, but that person, disciple, has to go to hell for 114,121 years. And then, after that, she became a snake, a poisonous snake, reincarnated as a poisonous snake, and had to live among the population so that anyone who saw the snake would beat her. The animals also harassed the snake. For 922 years, she could not bite herself to death. Poisonous snake could not bite herself to death. For 922 years. And then she reincarnated again as a fox, a very malicious fox, for 411 years. And then she became a wolf, but very hungry, difficult to catch anything to eat, and being harassed and wounded by other animals because she was weak, a weak wolf, yeah. But still could not die. It could not be eaten. That wolf wouldn't be eaten, wouldn't be dead, just being beaten or harassed all the time in her life for 323 years. It's more. Like this, I look scholarly, huh? Like I know something. Like I'm a very learned person. For 323 years, she has been harassed, molested wolf. And then she became a lion for another 225 years. Also being hungry, thirsty, and being in the wrong place and always being harassed instead of catching any prey. And then after that, she became a human with no vision, no hands, not a very good mind, could not speak, could not hear very well. She was not a very functional human, okay? Arms, legs were all deformed. And then she became like a leprous person, understand? The hands keep eating themselves up, and the feet, and And from inside also some worms also eat her up from inside, but couldn't get rid of it. No medicine can cure it. Cured and then came back again and again. For 22 years, yeah? And then, but also a very violent person, even without all that, still a very violent person. Therefore, of course, being captured and by the government, put in prison and all that, and being beaten up by inmates, yeah, because of a violent temper. And then she went back to hell because of doing violent things in the world. Due to the past karma, it could not be erased and escape. The karma, even though the master erased it for you, if you're doing bad things, you will come running back, okay? Nothing can be destroyed forever unless you escape from that. Like, okay, you might escape from the fire, then you're unharmed. But if you continue to stay there, you will inhale the smoke and die even if you're not burnt. Got that? So the master takes you away from this karmic zone of yours so that you can be free, huh? Forever, yeah? And then because of that, being violent, beating up people, killing others, she went to hell for 73 years. And then she became human again. After being washed up, came back, became human again, but brainless, handicapped, the same again. And then became a hungry ghost. I just wrote it quick, so not too much detail, okay? But you can imagine the rest, okay? Human brainless, what do you do, huh? And then became a hungry ghost for 95 years because she never contributed anything to anyone while she was alive, yeah? Apart from all the wickedness and black magic, wrongly used powers, she never been kind, or despite the master teaching her to be kind to other people. You don't have to give money or possessions. You just be kind, yeah? Or you be supportive of good people. Like if somebody gives somebody $5, you're happy in your heart that the person is doing a good deed and the needy person has some help. Then you're happy. In Chinese they say huan xi xin, means you're happy to see somebody doing a good deed. That is also a kind of charity. I told you before, yeah? Okay. Not even that. Anyone who is kind of famous or doing good things, she envied. And she slandered them, thinking, just doing that for fame. You understand me? For being famous is not good. So therefore, she became a hungry ghost for 95 years. Huh? Because while being a human, she's brainless. Now there's no chance to know what to do. No chance to even be happy when somebody else was doing good deeds. Least of all, to even give anything to anyone. Always given a human chance in order to do things good, to redeem your past mistakes and to practice spiritually. But a brainless person, how? You see that? Even looks like a human, but is not 100%. So she could not do anything more to get out of her trouble, get out of her bad retribution, yeah? And so she could not even think of helping anybody. Herself even being helpless. You got that? Okay. So she became a hungry ghost for 95 years. And then while being a hungry ghost, the yaksa demons kept eating her flesh, Today bite this, tomorrow bite that. So all day long, even though being a ghost is not peaceful, being eaten by the yaksa demons. And then she went back to hell again, because no merit. But when the yaksa beat her, she got angry and, schemed to revenge and all that. Of course, all this will lead you back to hell. She went back to hell again. To be a human, because she was once a practitioner, she had mastered power and protection. At least she had been given a chance again and again and again to be a human, but still no use. She went back to hell again for 2,326 years, etc., etc., etc. Like this, she continues forever in lower life forms. human or non-human. Okay, end of story. I'm sorry, it's a sad story, but maybe somebody needs it. So it's not like you have been initiated by Master and then you do what you want. And thinking, oh, Master will rescue me in any way. She says she would rescue the worst criminals. Criminals are different, okay? They fall into the situation. They have been maybe brainwashed by society that's around them, by their friends, or by circumstances. Sometimes they have worse crimes, but maybe because of self-defense. Maybe the situation forced them to, or maybe even wrongly accused, or maybe just being forced to do it by someone else. If not, he or his family will be in trouble. For example, you got that, you know that. People blackmail, force, coerce. They blackmail others, yeah, innocent or vulnerable victims, and coerce them into doing bad things against their will also. So criminals are sometimes, many are pardonable in the eyes of heavens. You understand? And the eyes of the Master. Master always pardons them and understands them and can help them. But if a disciple already knows right from wrong, has been nourished, taught, protected, and cared for like the Master's own children, and still goes against the Master, understand me, in such a horrible way that makes the Master defenseless. If the criminal comes to your house, maybe they wield a knife or something, you still maybe can find something to defend yourself. And you can see the enemy coming, yeah? Or even if they shoot you, you can maybe step aside or use something to cover yourself. You understand that? Maybe you have a chance to defend. But using black magic, nobody sees, nobody knows. And even if the Master knows, he cannot defend himself, because the Master always bears everything. Because if he had turned all that magic power against her, she'd have immediately gone out of existence. No one could ever rescue her, no chance whatsoever. Even if she went to hell, she still could come back, have a human life, maybe repent, maybe do some good deeds, still have a little chance some here and there. You got that? Still have the soul hanging in there. For one day, have a chance to be redeemed. But if the soul is completely annihilated, gone out of the universal existence forever, then sayonara, yeah. Okay then, so you be good, keep the 5 precepts and meditate. That's all I ask. Meditate as much as you can. Okay, huh?